now we straight chillin', serial killing, pre-cold villains on the mic, got you reeling. 5-star rated from the floor to the ceiling. If you catch a 1-star, no time for feelings. Got a demon DJ on the ones and twos, by the name Beelzebub, so don't get confused. So grab a seat by the fire, roast them all over two, and prepare to hear the legend of the straight chillin' crew.
What up, nerds? And welcome to another booty bumping episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name is Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode 525, recorded on Monday, April 28th, 2025. Tonight we're talking about the winner of April's poll, which was A Nightmare on Elm Street 2 Freddy's Revenge from 1985. We're celebrating the 40th anniversary of this film tonight. But before we get into it, let me introduce everyone else on the show. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., we got your boy Rand Diesel. What's up?
I'm going to look for a guy with a round, muscular butt.
What's going on, baby? Ready to talk? You ready to talk some nightmares?
Oh,
nightmares and wet dreams, maybe.
You found that butt. You can stop your search right now.
I know it, buddy. I know.
Locked on
Play
target.
that shit on repeat.
Oh, you sexual man. Next up, calling in from Seoul, South Korea, we got Shaboy Soju. What's up, man?
Oh, what up? It's your boy Leather Daddy Shower Stains. You know, just wearing my tight leather in the shower, per usual.
What could go wrong? No chafing. Zero.
Extra chafing.
Get this man some gold
You gotta
bond stat.
Cut those leather pants off at the end of the night, you know.
Dude,
They're
you're just
one-time use.
them legs are worn out for the next week, man. You're just rolling around in a wheelchair. No walking. No more. Last but not least, I'd like to welcome back everybody's favorite booty bumping buddy to the podcast, Ed Larson. What's up, man?
How you doing? Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm glad you brought the audience here tonight. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
They're back in their cage now.
Hell yeah, man. My booty's big, man. I'm living it, man. You know, I got pulled over by the police, man. I said, pull over that ass too fat. Whoop, whoop, you know.
Whoop, whoop. Yeah,
The police are always pulling over for fat asses.
Oh,
Man.
my gosh. They love me.
That ass
That's
ain't
too
street
wide a
legal.
load.
Hell yeah, man. I'm ready, dude. I'm ready. Thanks for having me back to come on and promote my second leg of my Florida tour. I'm ready for it, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. Where are you going to be? Tell everybody. Where can they find you?
I'm going to be the first week of May. May 6th, I'm going to be in Naples at Off the Hook Comedy. May 7th, I'm joining Henry Zabrowski from Last Podcast on the Left. We're doing our Side Stories thing over in Fort Lauderdale on Wednesday the 7th. And then on Thursday the 8th, we're going up to Orlando and we're doing our Side Stories thing in Orlando at the Funny Bone in Orlando. I can't wait. We got 2 shows. First one sold out, so make sure you get tickets to the late one. And then I'm going down to Key West for the weekend. And from May 9th to 11th, I'm doing Key West. And I got a full hour of Florida jokes. So I'm coming and I'm going hard on the Florida people. But it's pro Florida, of course, because I love my Florida people, because I'm one of them.
Dude,
You're too pro Florida, then Floridians will turn on you.
Yeah.
Have a self-loathing about us.
It's true. You're like 5 minutes on Publix. Chef's kiss.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, man, I love my Publix, dude. They're gonna take over the world, and I'm ready for it. I'm standing in line.
As long as they keep frying them tenders.
Soft ass shit.
Win Dixie.
That shit. Hell yeah. R.I.P. Tony Todd. R.I.P. Tony Todd.
Pour one
man.
out. Thanks
Tony
again for
Todd,
sitting
yeah.
in with us, Ed. Before we get into the main event, though, let's tackle just a little bit of housekeeping on our end here. So at the time of you listening to this, you'll have a matter of a few hours left to vote in our May poll, which is still posted over on our Patreon website. If you guys support us at the $5 level or above, you get the chance to vote on a movie we're talking about this May. Randy, it's your takeover month. What's going on?
Well, what's going on is that we got a whole slew of found footage freaks on hand, and we got three films to choose from, as always, as usual. We have Be My Cat, the 2015 joint. We have Man Bites Dog, the 92 joint, and Milk and Cereal from just last year. So quite a few found footage freakazoids out there getting their profile done on us. So we'll see how it goes.
Feels like this poll has been going on forever.
This is the last time.
How are
The
those
last
numbers
time.
like?
Slight shift, nothing crazy though. Be My Cat still in last place with 17% of the vote. Second place, Man Bites Dog with 30% of the vote, and Milk and Cereal sitting on top, 52% of the vote.
Nice.
Ooh.
I'm ready for a new
Kinda think-
poll. And also, boys, we are 25% finished with the 500s, on our way to 600 already. Can you believe it? Whoa.
No.
Oh my God.
I
No,
I'm gonna be
know.
going
We gotta
fishing
start
on that
playing
week.
in that 600th episode.
No.
It's a
That's
year
a
and
lot of
half
horror
away.
movies, man. That's wild. Have you repeated any at this point?
A handful.
Yeah.
We typically do a poll in like the beginning of the year. Sometimes it'll like go back to like our first 50 episodes or something.
Yeah.
So, but
The
not
dog
too
shit era,
many.
as it's known.
Yeah, not too many.
Yeah, stuff from the first year where our audio quality was just kind of dog shit. We're kind of happy to revisit those, but
Sounds like
Hear
five
that.
dudes farting into a mic all night.
oh yeah,
More or less what it is.
it's what it is. Still, it's just sounds a little better.
Yeah.
Audio
Yeah, but
quality's
it's very
improved.
the vibrato is much better now.
Always strive for tone, boys. What else we got? Patreon. We just dropped a mini cast last Friday. Ray and Diesel, you were talking about Opus, that A24 joint. And that's out there for your ear holes right now. Next up, we got one on Sinners dropping Friday, May 9th. So mark your calendars for that. That movie just keeps breaking records like over and over again. Making
Yeah,
all
every
the
day
money
I
in the
wake
world.
up and get a new headline that it's like
Yeah.
doing bigger and bigger numbers. Yep.
Faux shows. Check that out. And Ed, you were saying you just interviewed the director Ryan Coogler, right? And he
Yeah,
was
man.
not a psychopath. He was actually a nice fellow.
Dude, I couldn't believe I felt like I was talking to a genius, man. It was so cool because I went and saw Sinners. I was lucky enough they got us into a sneak preview and I saw it and I really, really dug it. I enjoyed the hell out of the movie. Oh, but I wasn't like there was a couple things where I'm like, oh, that's a little bit like that, and that's a little bit like that, and I was like, I was a little standoffish at first. And then after I talked to him, I was like, oh my God. What was I even like nitpicking about? This guy is like he spent so much time like location scouting and like music development and researching. I was blown away. If you want to hear the full interview, it's over on last podcast on the left. We interviewed Ryan Coogler about Sinners like 2 weeks ago, and I'm just literally just awestruck by the man. He was brilliant, and I just want to talk to him about music for all damn day too,
Yeah.
because he's doing something with music that I truly miss. And I think like the horror movies used to do it, the '90s used to do it, where they would like make soundtracks, like original soundtracks with bands for the movies, and like even like companion soundtracks when they did it for both Black Panther movies, and I think Sinners has one coming out or just came out as well. And so I think it's like a really return to form thing that I missed. Like Demon Knight had a good one, and
Yeah.
I remember was another one that had like Judgment Night, not a horror movie, but it had a great like custom soundtrack. The Faculty had a good custom soundtrack.
Godzilla 98. One of the best.
I can hear the VHS pre-roll in my brain.
Oh my God. Man, I remember when I was a kid, I was listening to the radio and it was right when Godzilla came out, and the guy on the classic rock station, the DJ was like, "So they're making me play Puff Daddy's song from Godzilla again. I think it's damned for music, but they're making
I'm
me do it."
sorry.
Yeah. It was
Awesome.
yeah, but man, I was Sinners was fucking awesome. Did you guys see it yet?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
All right,
It's
all
a
right. I'll
live
save
mini
it for your
episode, so
next
I can't say
episode.
more.
Nice.
The music was
Beautiful.
solid. I saw he worked with I always forget the dude's last name, Ludwig Goran something or
Yeah, it's
Gorenthal something.
Goranson. Yeah.
Goran's, yeah, he produced Childish Gambino's first couple records, and I didn't know he did it until the end of the movie, and after I read his name, I was like, I get it. Like some of those sounds were a little familiar from his records and stuff. Dude, yeah, solid soundtrack. Anyway, we're not reviewing Sinners right now, but
Not
watch it if
yet.
you haven't.
Yeah.
That's really all we got going on over on Patreon right now. Do you guys have anything else you need to plug? I guess actually we all have a plug.
Yeah, should we
Yeah.
do the guest feature we did?
Yeah, I think it'll
Let's do
be
it.
out this week. Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, we all were asked to be on a big event, the 200th episode of A Coup to Bouffe, which is a cut above. A cut above, that's what it is. A horror review
Nope.
podcast. We covered Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the
It was
original.
yesterday.
It was
Hold it together, buddy.
yesterday, 1 week, 1 month. What is it? But yeah, we all covered a Texas. No, somebody else
Covered a
speak.
Texas.
A Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 Freddy's Revenge last night on a cut
A
above,
Texas story.
coming out any
Um,
day into your podcast feed. It was a really awesome way to celebrate their podcast, and we were honored to be asked to be a part of it. Also, Nicole from Light and Shadow was a part of that as well, and it was really fun hanging out with friends and talking about a classic horror movie and celebrating our friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks for having us.
Congratulations to those guys. 200 is nothing to snub, and we all here know something about that. So it takes a lot of work to get to that point.
Congratulations. Yep.
The grind. Yeah, I think our house is collectively clean.
I think so too.
This house is clean.
All right, let's get into the main event. We're talking about A Texas Nightmare, Elm Street Saw Part 2,
A
Leatherface's
Texas on
Revenge.
Elm Street.
Let's get into it. We're kicking it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
Bob, I saw you had that box.
I have
How many of
that
these boxes? I
box.
suspect that you have more than one of these boxes.
Let's take bets. What's the under?
This is it. This is all I
Really?
have.
I thought you might have
Whoa.
like a nightmare box set or something.
There's
Did you
supposed
develop
to be...
restraint since we spoke yesterday?
No, this is just all there is. They're supposed to be putting out a 4K box set this year, and I'm sure I'll pick
Okay,
that up. So.
I'm sure you will.
But yeah, you can buy all 7 movies on Blu-ray, this little collection here for, I don't know, 20 or 30 bucks. It's everywhere. You can also stream this everywhere. It's very accessible. So check it out if you have not. But this movie came out in 1985, rated R with a runtime of 1 hour and 27 minutes. And this was directed by Jack Shoulder, written by David Chaskin, based on characters created by Wes Craven, obviously, who directed the original film. This stars Robert Englund, Mark Patton, Kim Myers, Robert Russler, Clu Gulager, Hope Lang, some other lovely folks. Plot synopsis brought to you by IMDb is as follows. A teenage boy is haunted in his dreams by deceased child murderer Freddy Krueger, who is out to possess him in order to continue his reign of terror in the real world. Gasp. Joe Manx. Have you seen this movie before, and would you recommend folks at home check it out? Ed, why don't you kick us off, man?
So I watched it again this week. I've seen this movie many times. Freddy's my boy, out of all the horror icons, I'd say it's him and Michael Myers are my two go-tos. But I would say this movie's not that great. I like, it's entertaining because it's Freddy, but I feel like they didn't know what they were doing. It seems rushed. They kind of like jumped the shark a little bit rather, where like the thing with Freddy, like a lot of the rules get broken and then they just kind of don't even explain it in this movie, which wasn't great for me. But on a whole, it's a Freddy movie. I still like it. If you're gonna count there's 9 Freddy movies in total. If we really want to get down to it, I think it's there's 2 worse. So, I mean, you could go worse than this one, in my
It
opinion.
does get worse.
It does get worse. It does get worse, So I put it number 7 on the all-time
All right.
A Nightmare
Well,
on Elm Street list.
I'm going to be very bold and assume that Freddy's Dead would be the second best on your list.
I mean, I do like Freddy's Dead, to be honest with
I
you.
do too.
It holds a special place in my heart, especially because I saw it in the theater, and I remember
Nice.
because there was that big 3D section, so we all had our stupid 3D glasses, and then like when I saw it in the theater as a kid, I remember like when you had to put your 3D glasses on, like Freddy, like there's a scene in the movie that isn't on the Blu-ray or anything, where he comes out and he's like, "Hey kiddies, time to put on your 3D glasses," and
Hell yeah. 5 stars.
Yeah,
I
so
don't
I
need
was
to
all
know
about it.
anything else.
I was all
I
about
love a
that shit.
fourth wall breaking Freddy.
Nice.
Who's gonna say no?
But yeah, man, it was on rewatch. I was hoping I would like it a little more because I remember when I did the Signs episode with you guys, I didn't really like that movie, and then on the rewatch, I liked it a lot more. But Freddy 2, gotta say, still stunk. And I think one of the main problems with it is that the lead is a dude. It
Oh,
should
well,
be,
we'll get into all that. We'll get into all that. Ray and Diesel, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I kind of agree as far as like especially slasher icons, 80 slasher icons. Like, I love the creativity of this franchise more than I like the creativity in most of them. Like, there's very little deviation in some of these other slasher franchises, but this one, it sticks to formula, but the formula includes some like big set pieces and shit, and I love that. So it has a little bit of that going on. It's not, it's definitely not in the top echelon of this franchise from my memory. My memory of this franchise is not very strong either, though. So in fairness, but I think I would recommend it definitely to anybody who wants a full horror academic study here to see this whole franchise. Um, but also, like, I think I like this one more this time than I have in the past. I had a better time with it. I think that my affection for it has grown more than it has revealed itself to have hidden fruits or anything like that. Have a more kind feeling towards it.
Just getting soft
So
in
yes,
your old age.
recommended.
Got
Yeah,
it.
so
Soju.
soft.
Soju, what about you?
Yeah, I had seen this before, but it's been a while since I'd seen it. I think the last time I saw it was when we saw Mark speak in Jacksonville, and
Do
he
you do you remember what year that was? I had to look it up today because I couldn't.
2016.
1903.
16. Yeah,
Was
you
it?
nailed
Oh shit.
almost
Okay,
a
yeah.
decade ago. Yeah.
Yeah,
Jesus
so
Christ.
it's been almost 10 years since I saw it. And I was maybe expecting I kind of went in with low expectations because I was expecting it to be maybe a little more cheesier and worse, and I was kind of pleasantly surprised that it was more of a balance than I remembered it being. Um I actually had a decent time with it, and maybe it's because for the past like 2 months we've been watching dog shit terrible
It's been a
movies.
rough run. Yeah.
So this
Yeah,
seemed at least like entertaining and pleasant, like to watch, especially from like an 80s perspective of like some campy fun and then some cool effects and stuff like that. So yeah, I would recommend like a general recommend, especially if you're looking for some fun 80s horror and in the mood for a Freddy. I had a decent time watching it actually. So yeah, Bob, how about you? Would you recommend people check this out?
Yeah, I would generally. I wanted to touch on us watching this back in 2016. Collective Con, which is a convention here in Jacksonville, they had a screening of this movie and followed it up with a Q&A with Mark Patton, who plays Jesse in the movie, who kind of vanished from Hollywood after this movie came out, and like nobody knew where he was, and they had to eventually, like, literally hire a private detective to find him, to eventually make the documentary that came out, Scream Queen, My Nightmare on Elm Street, which is like his experience of making this movie and the aftermath of this movie. So they had a Q&A there in 2016, and that documentary didn't come out until 2019, and that Q&A was the genesis of that documentary. And there's a local filmmaker named Sam Farmer whom we interviewed back in 2019 when his movie was coming out, and he was the original producer on that documentary. And I went back and listened to that interview today because I hadn't listened to it since we did it, basically. So that's episode number 197, where we review the Poughkeepsie tapes, and then the last 30 minutes or so, you can listen to Sam Farmer talk a little bit about producing the Scream Queen documentary, and he eventually handed the reins over to the directors to finish it. But the intro credit sequence, the animated credit sequence for that documentary, he made all that, and that's still a part of it. So I've got some trivia about that, from that documentary, as well as about this movie and stuff, which we'll get into all of that. But yeah, generally speaking, check it out. I also recommend checking out that documentary, which is currently on Tubi, so it's really easy to find and watch. And yeah, I guess it's a middle tier nightmare movie, but I think the context and like the sort of rediscovery of it is really interesting. And yeah, like Ed alluded to, there's worse, man. There's definitely worse entries. So, yeah, that sounds like maybe a loose recommend generally about this.
Medium
Would you
Medium
say
to loose.
medium to loose?
Medium to
All
loose
right.
recommend
Wow.
on a
What a
Texas
deviation from
Chainsaw.
That's
our
surprising. Yeah.
Right? Who would have seen that coming? So we are going to be spoiling the shit out of A Nightmare on Elm Street 2: Freddy's Revenge, and here comes your warning.
Spoiler warning.
Did you type up a plot synopsis for this?
I got it. Yeah. Not super
I
long
can take
either.
the week off this week. Thank God.
Yeah, relax, brother.
Finally
I got
pulling
you
your weight,
covered.
I
I
see.
did a
Bob.
lot of work last week, Bob. Okay,
Woo!
it's time for you to pick up some of the
Well,
slack.
Next
Step
week,
up, buddy.
I'll be happy to not do this, and you can do it. Here we go. The plot synopsis. 5 years after the events of the first film, the Weber family moves into the former Thompson family's home. Their teenage son Jesse has nightmares about Freddy Krueger. He and his friend Lisa find Nancy Thompson's diary in his room and read about her dreams that are eerily similar to Jesse's. Small fires just pop up all around the house, and their pet birds spontaneously combust. Jesse has yet another nightmare where Freddy tells him to kill for him. Jesse tries several things to stay awake. He begins just wandering the streets late at night instead of sleeping, and he finds himself wandering into a gay bar, which he runs into his gym teacher, Coach Schneider, who takes him back to school and makes him run laps around the gym. After that, he showers up in the gym showers, and Freddy ends up killing Coach Schneider, but Jesse is horrified to find he himself is wearing Freddy's glove. He's then escorted home by the police once he's found wandering the streets naked. Lisa and Jesse investigate the factory Freddy once worked at, but find nothing. The next night, Jesse attends Lisa's pool party. He kisses her, but his body starts to change, and he runs away in a panic. He ends up back at his friend Ron's house, where he confesses to killing the coach and asks Ron to just watch him sleep in case anything weird starts to happen. Ron falls asleep himself, and Freddy emerges from Jesse's body and kills Ron. Jesse goes back to the party where Lisa realizes Jesse's fear of Freddy is giving him his strength. However, Jesse cannot stop his fear, allowing him to change into Freddy once again. Freddy attacks Lisa, but Jesse's influence stops him from harming her. He then goes outside and slaughters the rest of the party. Lisa drives to the factory and confesses she loves Jesse and kisses Freddy, which turns his body to ash, allowing Jesse to emerge. Sometime later, Jesse, Lisa, and her friend Carrie are riding on the school bus. Jesse notices similarities to his original nightmare, but Carrie tries to calm him down. Then Freddy's claw bursts through her chest as we hear maniacal laughter and see the bus just drive off into a field. Roll them credits.
That's just the kind of prick I am.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Freddy's back. Getting revenge
Whoa.
on complete strangers, I guess.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is revenge is no one's from the first movie.
Yeah.
They're still the kids
Oh.
of Elm Street, though. I mean,
They exist. Yeah, I guess he's
Yeah.
just pissed off at the whole damn town.
he's just vengeance. It's eternal vengeance for Freddy. Like
Okay.
that's his jam.
Okay. That is his jam.
At one
Oh.
point, I think it was Lisa, they were looking at the diary and he was like, "Oh, have you ever heard of this girl?" And she was like, "No, that was 5 years ago. It was before my time." And I wrote a note. It's like 5 years ago is before your
Yeah.
time? A whole bunch of kids
If
get
I was
slaughtered
a
They're
on
in high
that?
12-year-old,
Yeah.
if I was a 12-year-old, the only thing I'd be talking about is the girl who went crazy and watched
Yeah.
her boyfriend get slashed up. Like,
And
are you serious?
Pokemon.
Yes,
Oh,
that
and
too.
that, yes.
Lots of trades
Also,
to be made.
like, how did she leave her diary behind? That is a valuable
real.
diary where you put a lot of crazy information in it. And you just you unpack the entire room, but stash the diary in the closet?
Yeah, it's just like right up in the closet. I thought about that too. I was like, if he had found that like hidden behind a panel or like something, like anything where it's like somebody would not have thought to look there, then it would have made sense. But it's in the top of a fucking closet. They didn't leave anything else. They just left the most important fucking MacGuffin.
I will say it was on top of a board game named Probe, and I was like, "What is
Probe.
this Probe game?"
Oh yes. I was looking at this movie very much from a homosexual lens this time around, having known its resurgence and all that information. And Probe stood out. That stood out for
Did,
sure.
did you notice on his bedroom door there's a sign that just says "No chicks"?
Yes,
Really?
I did.
Yeah.
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 No
Wow.
chicks.
Yeah, so I've always heard this was a gay allegory film, but I really didn't see many connections other than the gay club.
Yeah,
Well,
there's
That's the big one.
the sort of like context of this movie. I kind of alluded to with the documentary about Mark Patton and everything. So he was a closeted actor at the time of filming this movie, and the screenwriter back in the 80s, anyways, David Chaskin. Whenever this movie came out, there were a handful of like outlets that wrote about the sort of overt queerness of the movie. And at the time, he basically took no credit for writing anything gay at all in the movie. But if you just look at some of the scenes, like, come on, you know he's lying. But he didn't really take any credit for it. And he's like, it's really just, it appears that way because Mark Patton himself is a gay man. But he was closeted at the time, and he sort of got outed in this way that wasn't his choosing. And I guess he was really uncomfortable with that happening, and decided to leave Hollywood and like live his life elsewhere. Eventually, he moved to Mexico, and I know his partner passed away of AIDS, and he himself struggled with AIDS, and he's still living in Mexico, I believe, and has sort of enjoyed the resurgence, the sort of like rediscovery and reevaluation of this movie, and now goes to conventions and is sort of proud to be known as the first male scream queen, and wears it as a badge of honor, kind of. But like back in the day, I think things went down in kind of a nasty way for him.
Oh,
So
were people not as cool about being gay in the 80s as they are now?
news to me, right? Like people
I
weren't
thought it was all
down
sunshine,
with it.
lollipops, and rainbows back then. What are you telling me
But
here?
I do like I mean the shower scene where the coach is getting whipped in the ass and he's like tied up, like pretty homosexual moment there. He's hanging out in the gay club, the dance scene in the bedroom where he's basically jerking off with this like wooden toy. I don't really know what that thing is.
Yeah, it's a little popper. Yeah, I had one of those
Yeah.
when I was a kid. It just you just push it and the thing pops out. It's
Yeah, it
silly, it's
does.
stupid.
The no chick sign. Well, he starts making out with Lisa, and then he runs away and asks if he can stay with his buddy
Yeah,
in his
great.
buddy's
Yeah,
room.
he
and
immediately runs and like jumps
Yeah.
on his friend in bed. Like, I don't know, man. Like
Yeah,
the smash cut did this no favors for subtlety.
There's
Yeah.
a lot in here, I think, that is very textual. It's not like subtext, really. It's kind of blatant. Like even the like Freddy trying to emerge like from the inside of Jesse is like, I don't know, I guess you could read it as like the queerness being the monster, which would be like a very harsh like in 1985, maybe that's how some people would view it. But I do think
I could be reading too much in this. This could be too much because I knew the context because we went to that thing like 9 years ago. And so going
Yeah.
into this, I was like kind of watching it through that way. But I was thinking to myself, I was like, there is this aspect of this of this young man or whatever being manipulated, specifically like he does. I have the brains, you have the body, like his body being manipulated by this like older man or whatever. And I thought to myself like, oh
Predator.
yeah, that could be part of the context in that too,
Mm.
especially from the 80s when it was hard to, you can't just go out and regularly meet people. So a lot of the times the people that you're meeting might, have more influence over you or, just so I don't know. That's just popped into my mind this time around.
That's true, but like
Yeah.
also the coach himself, I don't like he's into some shit. It's not just like it doesn't end at being a gay dude. Like
No,
he's
Yeah.
He takes
he
that
is
kid. I mean, if I guess we're meant to assume all that happens in reality and not in a dream, but he takes that kid to school and makes him run around and then get in the shower. Like he doesn't take him home or
while
just leave
still
him the
wearing
fuck
his
alone.
leather.
Like I know,
yeah.
like, and when the coach gets like pelted by every single ball in the gym, it's like I don't know, man.
He
It's
got
kind of
bald.
over.
And then
Yeah.
they find him naked. The police bring him home and say, "We found him wandering around naked," and he's like,
Yeah.
so like upset
Yeah.
and doesn't want to. Yeah, so it's. I mean, I think the
The signs are
context is there. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see it's there, but the coach scene. I almost want to talk about that for 2 seconds because
Oh yeah.
I was like confused by it, to be honest with you. Is it a dream? Like, is it, or is it just reality now? Or like, where did the glove come from? If it's reality, like, it kind of just like confused the hell out of me.
It is
I
confusing.
totally agree.
Yeah.
And here's the
Very
thing. I think I know why, because it seems like what happened, like I was watching that and I was having the same thing. I was racking my brain over this. And I really think they just like edited things out of sequence for no fucking reason. Because there's that scene where like everything's melting in his room or whatever. And
Yeah.
then he like just is walking through the streets and into this club, and then all that shit happens. He gets taken back home, and the next night he gets up again, finds the claws in his top drawer, scratching or whatever. And I noticed that like the lamps and shit, they were all still melted. They clearly like cut that out of sequence. It was like the same, supposed to be the same night, and that would have at least given you like context. Like, oh, he's like, maybe it made it too obvious or whatever. But like, they're, I don't see how this movie is concerned with being obvious.
I
Yeah.
kind of I don't know if this is correct, but the way I was looking at the dream sequences in this movie were more like sleepwalking hallucinations, where like Freddy was able to control his body in the real world while he was asleep to make him do his bidding and kill for him, like he wants him to do. I don't know where the fuck the glove came from or like how it just pops in and pops out, and like I mean, yeah, it is confusing, and this movie does stray like a lot from the sort of the rules that the original sets up. So it's kind of mind-boggling. I think Wes Craven was
I am not listening to your rules.
exactly.
Yeah.
Wes Craven didn't like that they didn't listen to his rules. So it's kind of like make of it what you will, I guess.
Maybe the glove was in the furnace in his own basement. Because he has that
Maybe.
scene where he's down there and then he's like, try it on, and so yeah, maybe that was where he got the glove and didn't know he
Yeah.
had it. But
I
it
think
was
that's fair.
it was still kind of annoying, to be honest with you. I want to
Did
see
he bring
Freddy.
it to the club with him? Like how
Yeah,
did-
exactly.
People thought it was a
exactly.
fashion
Back
statement.
yeah,
It's,
just
it's
the
an
one
S&M
glove.
club. I mean, if you're gonna get away with it anywhere.
You might be onto something, Randy. All right.
I will.
All right.
I will
There's
say though. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say there's hardly any nightmares. I watched this shit for the fucking nightmares. Sorry if
Yeah.
cursing, but like it was just
No,
like,
no, no.
what's
Don't you
up?
fucking
fuck,
curse
fuck,
anymore.
fuck,
What are you
fuck.
doing?
Sorry, I get excited. I love my Freddy, and it haunts my nightmares. And then no one in the schools having nightmares, and then he's killing adults. Like the whole thing's
Yeah, he
weird.
is.
I will say
That's
one of my
kinda weird.
favorite scenes though was when Freddy it's a nightmare-esque where he burst out of his body or whatever. That shit's fucking cool
That was
as
cool.
shit. Yeah.
It was pretty cool. Yeah,
That was a cool scene.
In that moment, I was like, okay, this is reality. And it'd been so long since I've seen this movie. When Freddy burst out of Jesse's body, I was like, I was like, Jesse's fucking dead, man. That's a wrap. And then the camera pans and he's just like standing there. And I was like, well, what is real? Like, I don't know. I can't
Well, I
figure
don't
this
know,
shit
man.
out.
This is the thing is like, yeah, I mean, there's no like nightmares the way that you see them typically in this franchise, and I can understand being like a little annoyed by that. But for me, I kind of like the blend of the fact that you can't really tell the difference. It feels like Lynchy and weirdly, and then a parrot will explode, and you'll be like, oh, this is a stupid fucking movie. I forgot about that. But like, there's like the weird, like, I'm not sure if he's sleepwalking. I'm not sure what the rules are. Like all that stuff. It's dream logic and a movie about fucking nightmares. I kind of dig that. I'm kind of on board for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
I
makes
wish
sense.
there was kind of more. I did. So, what I was kind of expecting this movie to be was a little bit more when Freddy's just like at the pool party, which I actually found to be quite entertaining. And especially when the one dude tries to kind of like talk to him and he's like, hey man, do you need some help? And he's like, what is he like, help yourself, bitch, or something like that. And I just
Yeah.
like, it's like,
You just
okay,
boiled your
yeah, this is
friends.
kind of what I thought it was gonna be. And it was nice to have like that little splash in there. And but not be, but I was also kind of surprised. I thought it was going to be more campy and over the top, but when we first start getting Freddy a little bit, it plays it more closer to the first one. I think he is darker and sinister when he like pulls his kind of head off and you got the brain and he
That
is
was
a little
cool.
bit more sinister and not goofy. It's just when he's like, standing around at a pool. It's quite goofy, but I was kind of honestly surprised at the blend between the two. I thought it was going to be a lot more campy.
I don't know if it still is available, but about like 10 years ago, I had a girlfriend who was coming out to visit me in LA, and the pool house was available. The one where they like have like on
Sick.
Airbnb, the one where like
Sick.
he can't seal the deal with the Meryl Streep looking chick. That you could rent that on Airbnb. I don't know if it's still available, but we didn't get it. We waited too long and someone else had got it that weekend, but it was available. And
It
so
might be too cursed for taking your girlfriend. I don't know.
well, we ended up at a Ramada, so it can't be more cursed than that.
That's true. Yeah. You might have
Well.
done better at the pool house.
Maybe so, maybe so. There's one thing I totally forgot about that happens in this movie is whenever Lisa goes to the factory for the second time, there are those just dogs with like fucked up human faces.
Forgot about that
And then you
too,
never
yeah.
see him again. I was like, what the fuck is that shit? Is that a dream? I don't think so.
Yeah, I
don't.
mean, it's dream powers, it's dream logic.
Dream
happening,
powers,
and then they
man.
fucking-
We found your
got
dream
the dream
power.
powers, man.
I
the
was
dream
looking
power.
at
The dream power, man.
I was looking at the trivia on IMDb, and they said that that's the same warehouse at the end of Terminator 2, like the same set.
Oh shit.
Yeah, same location. I thought that was pretty fucking cool.
Nice.
Sick.
Nice.
Yeah, there's not a
Better
ton
movie.
of like kills in this. There's the coach, you got Ron
Grady.
Grady in his bedroom, and then the like giant massacre at the pool, and then that's kind of
Yeah, and then I mean also kind of our main character shit was his
Jesse.
name? Jesse.
Yeah.
Like like when you thought he was dead. I mean, it
Yeah,
looks
yeah,
like
yeah.
he's killed.
Yeah.
So
What about right up
Yeah.
top in the school bus? Was
Yeah.
that a real thing, or was that just his dream? I can't remember.
that
I
was nightmare.
think
It's a
it's
dream,
a
yeah.
dream. Yeah.
'Cause he
Yeah.
snaps awake from that. I'm pretty.
yeah, and he's
He
so
does.
moist. He's always
his-
so fucking
Everybody's
moist.
moist in this movie. Yeah.
That's how they introduce. I love how they introduce the character. You just like the family's having breakfast downstairs, and you hear him just screaming bloody murder upstairs in his bedroom, and his little sister just loves dunking on him. She's like, "Mommy, why can't Jesse wake up like everybody else?" And they're like, "Ha ha 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 ha! Fuck Jesse!" Ha, ha,
Dude,
ha."
she's got some Fu Manchu cereal.
Manchus.
The Fu Manchu. And it's got the
Just
Fu
so she could
Manchu
get the finger
fingers.
things. Yeah, like
It's
very
like,
good.
holy shit,
Very good.
80s.
Oh yeah, man. How much better would the movie have been if he killed his sister?
it could have been.
Yeah.
pretty-
Yeah.
It was like alluding to it in that one scene.
It would
you
explain
know?
why his
Yeah.
dad's such a huge prick.
His dad
Dude.
sucks so much.
The
yeah.
dad was cracking me up about like he refused to do anything to fix the AC, and he's just pouring sweat in that fucking house.
I just
Yeah.
needs a shot of Prion.
Yeah, what? He's gonna unpack his room, but you're not gonna fix the AC?
I know.
He's gonna sit there popping peanuts and watching goddamn MLB or something.
When he
And
finally
his bird
looks at-
explodes.
When he finally looks at the thermostat and he's like, "Oh, it's 95 degrees in here." Like, Jesus, that's out of control.
Nice.
Nobody bothered checking the temperature for that. It's like, man, it seems a little hot in here. I seem to be dripping sweat at this moment.
Oh, speaking of gay context, also just the dance scene, which comes like right after that or whatever. Which, if you're gonna do it, I wrote that it doesn't go hard enough. The song is just like not like it doesn't bring the jam enough, so it's just kind of like weird and awkward. Like, damn, you gotta really bring it with the jams if you're gonna do this. But very
Speak for
gay,
yourself.
very very gay.
You know what, man? Now that we're talking about it, they remade Nightmare on Elm Street with the guy from Watchmen and whatever, and I didn't bother watching it. It was just like one of those things where it's like, no way, I'm doing this. But remake Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Like let's remake a shittier movie to be better, and like let's really make it gay, like gay the fuck out of it, like let's see what you got,
Let's see whoever directed The People's Joker, let's get them on it.
Hell yeah.
They could do that shit.
That would be that. That's what I want to see. I'm sick of all these remakes of movies that we love. Remake the sequels that suck. Pet Sematary 2, remake it. Let's try again. We don't need the first one.
I love that you're an advocate for like skipping the original. Like, fuck context.
Just pick
Freddy
and choose,
exists.
yeah.
We all know the situation here.
Remake part 2 and part 5 only, and like maybe 4, maybe.
Tap
That's
Timothy
it.
Chalamet on the shoulder and get his ass into this fucking movie.
Oh,
I think we're on to something. We're on to something here.
Some Twinkie bastard.
I feel like Robert Englund's got one left in him.
I think so. He seems like pretty spry, and like he'd probably be into it.
just-
I
It's
think.
not
He
like
did
he's
a,
got to look young,
Yeah.
He did something not that long ago as like a guest feature where he was a dude in prison or something, and they had to go see him. Oh, what was that? And he was fine. Yeah, he didn't like seem too old or anything. God, we reviewed it was I think it was a mini.
He was in
episode.
Stranger Things.
Yeah, okay, that's what it was.
He
Yeah,
was,
it was
yeah,
he was the guy in Stranger Things. That's what
Yeah.
he was the with the no eyes or whatever. So yeah,
He's still steady working. We worked
he
last
could
year,
do it.
but he's doing like it's voice work a lot of it. It looks like, but still,
Yeah.
I
Minor
think-
roles here and there. Yeah.
I think isn't like it's just the role that he will be forever associated with, and like there's always like a push and pull with that sort of thing when
Sure.
you're in that position. I'm sure, but like, man, to don the hat one more time would be spectacular, no matter the quality of the product. Honestly,
Yeah.
He
Well,
was Mark Hamill's roommate before they both got famous.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick.
That is pretty cool. So yeah, Luke Skywalker and Freddy Krueger were roommates, which I love.
Maybe now that they're bringing back Friday the 13th, we'll get a Freddy vs. Jason 2, the sequel we've all been
Oh
waiting
yeah,
for.
well we'll finally wrap in the Star Wars universe as we've all been clamoring for.
Again.
Oh yeah.
We're doing it.
Weren't we supposed to
Finally.
get Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash, and it just never happened?
Originally, yeah.
Yeah.
They turned it
For
into a
Freddy vs.
comic
Jason,
series,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
because
They could put it like the Chucky series is primed for some sort of guest appearance from somebody. Like, come
Yeah.
on, do some shit like that.
I'd love like a fighting video game like Mortal Kombat, but you could be all the different horror icons.
yeah,
that
that'd
would be
sick.
There's been
amazing.
homebrew. There's been homebrew people doing that. It's
Yeah, I
like-
was gonna say there's one like on the internet somewhere, or at least there was at one point. You could like download it, or I don't know.
Mutagen?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
because for a while that was a trend. They had that like Nickelodeon fighting game where it was all the like Nick characters, and then they did a Cartoon Network one or whatever. Yeah, do a fighting game one. Yeah.
Do it. Someone
People have
out
done that,
there.
and
Do
they
it,
showed up in Soul
cowards.
Calibur, like, but not together, which
Do
was
this work
weird.
for
I
me.
think.
So
What's
I can
wrong
enjoy
with
the fruits of your labor. But yeah, you could have like a xenomorph in there. You could spit some shit. That's like your
I mean,
reptile
who's
character
gonna
right
beat
there.
the xenomorph? No one could
I mean,
touch that
They
shit.
they've all been in fucking Mortal Kombat's at one
That's
time or
true.
another.
That's fair.
So like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I feel like that could be fun if they did it like a dedicated horror horror franchise fighting game. That would be great. But you never know. Maybe they will.
There's
Yeah.
too
There's
many
IP
owners.
involved. God knows.
There, yeah.
Expensive ass game to make for sure. There
Mhm.
was looking at some of the trivia here, speaking of expensive ass shit, they weren't gonna pay Robert Englund to come back for this. He wanted a raise and they just weren't gonna give it to him. So they hired a stuntman to be Freddy Krueger. They got like 2 weeks into production and were like, oh God, this was a horrible decision, and just paid Robert Englund and brought him back.
Good.
He's got
Yeah.
a thick surfer accent or some shit.
Oh God.
You got the body. I got the brain.
I got the mind, bro.
Kill for me, Jesse.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know what that was.
Grady was actually cracking me up in this movie or whatever. His little lines about
Yeah.
like, "Are you mounting her every night or whatever it says?" And
You should be.
he's like, "You remember your dreams, Grady?" He's like, "Only the wet ones." Like, it's just little lines.
Yeah, he
I
says
like
killing.
Grady.
he says he got grounded for throwing his grandmother down the stairs. Jeez.
I forgot about that.
Just
Grady's kind of
grounded.
a loose cannon.
That's,
Yeah.
that's why he can't go to the party, because he's grounded for
Because he's just grounded and he needs to be home alone so that he
Yeah,
can
yeah.
have
Plot
Mark Patton
convenience,
thrust
yeah.
himself on top of him.
Their first interaction between Jesse and Grady, he pants Mark while they're playing baseball, and his bare ass is just out for like several minutes. This kid's supposed to be like 16.
And then they
or
roll
something.
around and tumble in the hay.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. No, this is like it's the
It's
signs.
gay.
The signs.
Oh
of
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. It's
But also like it's like they start with a fight and then it's like they kind of pose them in any movie that did not have gay subtext, they would just be like bitter rivals, like fucking Harry and Draco shit, some shit like that. But this, they just like immediately are like slash fiction attracted to each other. It's pretty clear. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, they love each other. You know, what are you
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
do? Love, hate, you know, but it's, you know, they deserve each other. They
Can't make it with the rich Lisa in her pool house, but he can
dude.
go over and trust Grady to fucking I don't know, man.
When those hot dogs just start like bursting on the grill and the beer cans start exploding and shit, and the dad runs out with a fucking shotgun. I don't know. Yeah, something about that pool scene is just like, fuck yeah, this is right. This is
I loved
It
when I
seems
was
like
a kid.
sorry, go on.
yeah.
I
It
was
seems
saying-
like the whole 80s distilled into a single scene to me. Like
It was just it just turns into total chaos though.
Yeah.
Like they don't even explain how because at least in the first one they like pull him out and like she has his hat and like you know like they explain it just even the tiniest bit. And this one he's just running around in real life slashing kids' bellies open.
Yeah, the
That's a-
water catches fire. Just the water in the pool.
oh yeah.
catches
The
fire.
water's got fucking fire gas pipes bursting out. I don't know. I thought that like him running around or whatever like to my interpretation was and like this is probably me meeting the movie way more than halfway. But I feel like it's Jesse, right? Like it's Jesse, and I'm not sure that what I was trying to decipher is like, can they see that it's Jesse, or are they seeing Fred Krueger? Are like what are they like? Are we seeing that as the audience? But there's because we're using Jesse's point of view, and it's Jesse in beast mode, as it were, or is
Goblin
it like
time.
I don't know.
I
or-
thought that
or
too, but at
what?
the end
I
of the
don't know.
movie, then he would be in jail because
Yes, exactly. And so
Yeah,
like
he
it doesn't hold
murdered
together at
people.
all.
I think they are seeing Fred Krueger, and on some level he has dream powers, man, because the dad does start blasting and
Yeah.
it doesn't affect him at all, and then he just sort of like vanishes, and then there's nobody there. Not
yeah,
Jesse
he
or Freddy.
mentions that he goes through the wall. He's like, "Where did
Yeah.
he go?" or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
was. Yeah, I will say the worst part of this movie, though, for the ending was so weak. Just the whole Lisa chase him down and being in the boiler room and just like the power of love, man.
Yeah,
and
that
then
is-
and then we go to the bus again. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
Come
Yeah,
Yeah, there's probably a not very nice interpretation of that ending, like the straight love saved his life, or it's like I don't know.
I just thought it was
That's
just weak
yeah.
writing in general.
I
Just
mean,
like
yeah, it is
it's
just kind of
really
like
nothing.
that's
Yeah.
the end. Yeah.
I kind of
Yeah.
liked it from the interpretive view, my brain canon of like, okay, well, we got a female scream queen, and we've got a male, like whatever the Valiant equivalent is, like the Prince Valiant equivalent, and like, okay, cool, like that's fine,
Oh yeah.
even though it's not the most interesting like scene. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was very Sleeping Beauty for sure. But yeah, no, it was that poor girl had to kiss Freddy Krueger's horrible
Yeah.
mangled mouth. That was how many takes, and then Robert England just like being a
Get
nightmare. Oh my God.
get you a
Maybe she
man that can
liked
do
it.
both,
She developed a new kink that day.
Really into horrifically
she
burned
started
serial
hanging around
killers.
burn wards all night.
Oh God.
What that mouth do, boy?
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, but like the movie was made in less than a year, like from start to finish.
Yeah.
And it was just I think you really kind of see that they totally rushed this thing and did not take the time that they should have to really develop that script. And they just kind of put it together, which, it's the 80s. They were doing that with a lot of horror movies, they're most of the Friday the 13th movies are like that too. So it's just I guess I get it, but at the
Yeah.
same time, just like just try a little harder and not be a total cash grab, you
Yeah.
know. And it's like, and I think the biggest proof of that is when they weren't going to hire Robert Englund, and they were just
Oh,
going to
yeah.
hire some fucking stuntman. And it's like,
Mhm.
no, you need an actor.
Yeah,
This movie
no.
would be
Yeah.
infinitely worse with somebody besides Robert Englund in this role. Infinitely.
Totally. You can't, he's not like a silent killer like your Jason or your Michael. Like you gotta, I mean, Freddy is, he's got a voice, he's got a style, he's got a
Yeah.
delivery, he's got a
Yeah.
swagger to him. And that's all
In
Robert Englund.
fairness, in fairness, though, I feel like this is only the second movie of the franchise. Like, it's not like as big as the first movie was. I'm sure, like people, I feel like it was a little more flexible because it's
Yeah.
like
Or they
recasting the
thought it
xenomorph to
was.
some degree, or they thought it was.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But the performance really, really mattered, especially as it started to come into its own as like darkly comedic. Like
Yeah.
in the third
Oh.
movie, it really, really comes home and it becomes like inseparable from Robert Englund. But at this time, I feel like the Money Men definitely couldn't tell you the difference. I'm sure. So
Well,
Yeah.
it's interesting too because if you like, I would say too, A Nightmare on Elm Street has a little bit more longevity in that you are able to do a lot more creative things with it, as opposed to like where Halloween tries to just take some crazy swings and it never really works out about some cult or some, runes and all kind
Love
of
triangle.
bullshit and stuff like that. But if you just look at it from the perspective of as these films come out and like what you've got in the first two films, then the first two are kind of weak, or like, and in general, if you saw like, because Halloween 1 and 2 are actually like quite strong together. And then Friday the 13th, 1 and 2 are actually, quite strong together. They just get a lot weaker the longer they go on. So it's interesting that Nightmare 2 is like kind of weaker, but over the long run, it kind of, ends up stronger, I think.
don't they
Debatable.
eventually like reveal that
Yeah.
like Fred Krueger is also like a demon, literally like in some way a demon or some sort of like chaotic imp or some shit like that? I think they did.
Probably. It's been a while
Um,
since I've seen the whole
I
franchise.
don't know. Like
but I
he's
do
a
know
sleep
that
demon or something.
like not to we just released a bonus episode of the whole Friday the 13th franchise, and we
Yeah.
covered all the Halloweens for Halloween. So I know that those get really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to cover the rest of this franchise because I haven't seen part 4 and 5 in so long that I really don't remember them very well. I know there's like the Dream Child. where they get
Four,
into like the lineage of Nancy or of I forget. There's like somebody has a kid or I don't even remember honestly.
four is worth watching.
Yeah.
I've seen Dream Warriors recently, and that one holds up. Is it Dream Warriors or Dream
Oh,
Master?
Three
Dream
ish Dream
Masters.
Warriors.
Dream
Masters
Master.
4. Yeah.
Masters 4.
Yeah.
Dream Child, trash. Freddy on a skateboard. I don't make him Bart Simpson. I don't need that. That was a little
Some
too
Gremlins
much for
2
me.
shit.
The Gremlins 2 is, that's a great film. That is a film with a capital F. Put it in can as far as I'm concerned. The
Criteria on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Freddy 5, no good. But Freddy 6, I think, has the most lore in it. If you really want to like look at it, they go back in time a lot in Freddy 6, and you start going into Freddy's mind. And that's the one that I think you would get the most like the son of a thousand maniacs,
Right.
him killing the hamster in school and shit like that. So and why he hates that town. What's the name of the town again?
Springwood.
Springwood?
Springwood, yeah, Springwood, yeah, and then why he hates that town and stuff like that. So I think six, I don't know why, but I always go to six as like one of my favorites.
It's got some of the best jokes in like Freddy
it's
cracks
very
me
funny.
up. Yeah,
Yeah,
very, very funny. I like it too. It's, it is what it is. But I think it was made knowing that it's poking fun of the franchise and it opens up where it's the full like Wizard of Oz and he's like the Wicked Witch on a broom and shit like that's how it starts and it's I don't know.
I just think
It's
like
fun.
the median quality of a Nightmare on Elm Street movie is just higher
Mhm.
than in Halloween, than in Friday the 13th, and than Child's Play. Like all these horror icon movies, like there's like steep climbs and steep valleys, but in Nightmare on Elm Street, it's mostly just like I just think that the mid range for the most part, and then there's like a couple of real clunkers, one or two that stand out. I think I don't know. I feel like that it's just overall. I'd rather roll the dice on watching a random Nightmare on Elm Street movie than any of those other franchise icons.
Yeah.
It's just better. It's just more fun. It's also like you were saying, Juice. It's like kind of an evergreen concept because whatever you
Mhm.
can like dream up from a set piece perspective, like that can carry the entire fucking movie
Yeah.
entirely. If you come up with cool ideas for that shit, like it literally it doesn't have to be justified in any way. It's already pre-justified. You don't have to do like the legwork of like establishing, oh, there's a cult, or oh, this is Michael Myers' niece, or oh, this is fucking I don't know, whatever it is. They don't have to go through so much of that. They just kind of like can add filler and then let that shit live. Have fucking Freddy on a goddamn witch's broom and call it a day.
man,
Hell yeah.
3 is incredible. I don't know when the last time you saw 3 was. I know we're talking about 2 today, but 3 is wildly good.
Three's
It was,
good.
It's so good.
Frank Darabont wrote it, who ended up doing like Walking Dead and The Mist and all that stuff. And so he worked on like Shawshank. He did a lot of Stephen King stuff. But so I love 3. 3 is a special film, as far as Freddy goes. But I think the second one struggles a lot in these series. I didn't dig Halloween 2. I don't even remember Friday the 13th Part 2.
The
I'm
one where he's
pretty
got a
sure
bag on his head.
yeah, that's the
Yeah.
one with the bag. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I feel like the second one's always like a rush job and a swing and a miss, and then they come back with the third one, except for
I
Halloween.
just think, yeah, they
Yeah,
just
I
still establish stuff. Nothing is sacrosanct yet. They're just kind of like
Elm Street
trying
3 is
something as quickly as
by
possible.
far the best part 3, I think, of any of the
Oh,
big
yeah.
slasher
Yeah,
franchises.
Friday the 13th 3 is garbage. Just
It's not
garbage.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like
I think it's
Halloween
fun.
season of the witch is like it shouldn't even be called a Halloween movie, really. I like it for what it is, but if you're grading it on like, is this a good slasher movie? Like, not really. It's not.
Yeah, it's a fun horror movie, but it's
Yeah,
not a
yeah.
Michael Myers movie by any
Right.
means.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw's garbage.
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
boring. Part 3 is
Hellraiser
just-
3.
Oh,
I've not
okay.
seen that.
Real bad.
honestly.
I haven't either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hellraiser 2 though, pretty good.
Not
Yeah,
bad.
I actually,
Not bad.
I mean, I like Halloween 2. I like Friday the 13th 2, and I haven't seen it, but Child's Play 2, you were saying,
Mm.
Randy, that it has,
Solid.
it was,
Solid.
It's
yeah,
well
it's-
regarded. Yeah.
good.
know what?
So yeah.
My controversial take is one of my favorite Halloween movies is Rob Zombie's Halloween
Oh
2.
Oh no!
Yeah, man, that shit's
Don't say
dirty.
that.
Oh yeah, I like it's brutal, man. That one's real upsetting. And so I don't know, I dig that one a lot.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's illegal, right?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
felony.
It's a felony.
Yes.
Wow.
People always get mad at me, but it's the one I watch the most. It
Oh,
really
no.
is. I don't know why I dig it so much. It just
Damn.
it hits me right. It hits me right.
At least you didn't say Halloween Ends is your favorite. That would be
Oh God, I wanted to like it so much.
Yeah.
I wanted. I even like while I was watching it, I was like pretending I liked it, and then like by the end of it,
It's
I was
good.
just like, "This is like the new Indiana Jones." You know, you just sit there and you're like, "Yeah, this is
Yeah.
good, right?"
It's like when your mom cooks you a meal that just fucking sucks, but you have to be like, "This is good." You got to smile through it. Like, oh
good.
no,
No, it's good.
Good.
It's good.
it's good.
Sitting there with you dragged your friends there. You're like, you're gonna love this. It's gonna be great.
Tell David thank you. Thank him.
Oh,
Um,
David.
Boys, let's go and rate this thing out of 5. Ed, why don't you kick us off, man? How do you feel about Nightmare on Elm Street 2: Freddy's Revenge?
I give it a 2. I give it a 2 out of 5. And it gets a 2 because it's Freddy. If it wasn't Freddy, it would get a 1. But I love my Freddy, and I love him haunting my nightmares. And I hope usually when I watch a Freddy movie, he comes into my nightmares. And so I'm really hoping I get a little visit from him myself tonight because I saw Freddy too. But I'm giving it 2 out of 5 because it's just not that good.
Right on.
Nightmares.
Rand Diesel, how do you feel?
Yeah, I feel significantly more positive than I anticipated. Like, I don't know, like this one never stood out to me really, except for like some of the backstory we talked about. But I think watching it with that knowledge in advance, as well as sort of like, first of all, being stoned, that helped. But
That's what I
watched
did
this
wrong. I woke up at
Yeah,
8 in the morning and I watched. I messed.
Like a damn
Should've Green Dayed
professional.
Yeah, that's not us, man. That's just not us. No, I was a little stoned, but like it gave me like my question, like, oh, what's real or whatever. It really like lent itself to that sort of like the dream logic aspect of it landed for me more this time than it ever had. So those two lenses really helped me. All that said, like it's still a movie with an exploding fucking parakeet in it for no good reason. So I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. Enjoyable, I like it, but yeah, not a great movie.
Free from Rand Diesel. Juice, what about you?
Yeah, like I said, we've watched a lot of bad movies lately, so I think the bar for what is bad has, gotten a lot lower. And yeah, and it was nice to just watch a film that was not great, and I wasn't trying to convince myself that it was great, but that I was able to watch and just have some natural, general kind of fun with. Some of the goofy aspects of it, and then there's some cool aspects too, like him busting out of the body and the face stretching out from a skin and stuff like that. That was pretty cool. Ripping off a skull and stuff. So yeah, I had like a generally fun time with it. Ending was very boring and unsatisfying, and then there's like some really dumb things about this movie, but in general, it wasn't too bad to watch. So I think I'll go down the middle there and say 2.5 for me. Bob, out of 5, where you gonna rate this one? Nightmare Deuce.
I think context for this has really like altered my enjoyment of it. Like I know the first time I watched it, I was pretty lukewarm on it because like primarily just because it doesn't follow the rules that the original sets up, and even the ending of the original was like sort of forced upon Wes Craven with that like weird dream tag where they get in the Freddy convertible and drive off, and you're like, well, that doesn't really make sense because that's in reality or whatever. And this just sort of like continues down that path of like just make the fucking movie. We don't really care if you follow any rules or just make a movie, churn one out. So I originally that definitely bothered me, but like this being sort of rediscovered and hearing Mark Patton's side of the story and like it being celebrated in the queer communities and like Mark Patton leaning into being the first male Scream Queen and people watching this at gay bars and just finding different ways to enjoy it that like definitely weren't on my mind the first time I watched it. So I think that context really does help me enjoy this movie. I don't think it's one of the best Friday Nightmare on Elm Street movies. It's definitely not one of the best Friday the 13th movies. Um, but I enjoy it more than I have in the past, and I had a good time watching it, honestly. I didn't mind it at all. So I think I'm gonna come in with a 3 out of 5. I think there's more good than bad happening here. So yeah, pretty funny. Couple decent kills. The demon dogs freaked me out. Dogs shouldn't have faces, dude. That shit. Also in like Body Snatchers, the fucking dogs with the face. That shit freaks me out. I'm not into that
See,
shit.
It worked for me in Body Snatchers fine, but in this,
Yeah.
it was just like, oh, somebody went to Party City and like, dropped a nylon string around their fucking Doberman.
I don't know, man. I just not into it.
It seemed like they were just trying to rip off Ghostbusters for 2 seconds.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. You might be onto something there, actually.
Yeah.
Put the dogs in there. Hey, what are we doing here?
Yeah, put a face on the dog.
I ain't paying for Rick Moranis. You get some dogs. You put some masks on those.
Get a stunt man. Put a.
Yeah.
I already paid for Bobby England. That's all you get.
Bobby, my boy Bobby England.
My boy Bobby E. That's going to put our aggregate for this movie at a 2.6. Let's go ahead and jump over into our Rotten Tomatoes segment and see what the critics and users have to say.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Rotten Tomatoes segment in which I'm going to have these gents guess within the best of their abilities what the aggregate positive score is on RottenTomatoes.com for both the critics and users. The critics being the tomatometer and the users being the poopometer, the popcornmometer, but whatever they call this now. So we're going to jump into our critics as we usually do first. There are 31 critical reviews counted here. So keep that in mind as you make your guesses. I'm going to start with our esteemed guest, Ed. What do you think is the aggregate of positive scores from those 31 critical reviews?
24%.
24%. Coming in confident. I like that.
Yeah.
All right. Bob, you going over? You going under? Where are you going?
I'll take the over on this, but I don't think it's crazy high. I'm going to go right down the middle with a 50%.
All right, 50%. Juice, how about you?
I'm going to split the difference on those, and I'm going to say 40%.
40%. All right. Well, one of you is just 2 percentage points away from the correct answer, and that correct answer is 42%. Soju's going to walk with this one. Congratulations to you.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, 40% out of 30. That's not a whole lot of reviews, so like it's kind of a crapshoot at that level, but lower than I would have thought, honestly. Yeah, let's jump over to the users real quick. Significantly more reviews here at 250,000 plus ratings.
Whoa.
So, wide sample here. We're going to go in reverse order this time. Juice, why don't you tell us what you think those 250,000 plus users are thinking?
I think with its resurgence that it's probably going to be higher than 42%, but probably not by too much because just that high of a number is going to drive the average down, I think. So I'll bump it up just a scotch and I'll say 50. Hell yeets, Bob.
There it is.
There it is. You're waiting for
There's
it.
no way he's going to finish this sentence without saying hell yeet. All right, Bob,
52%.
take it away.
I'm actually going to take 52%.
52%.
I got to clarify because I had to.
But I wrote it in ink.
I wrote 50 hell ye.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
50 hell yeets. Bob, where are you coming in at?
I'll take the over with a comedy number of 69, please.
All right,
Why
the
high?
comedy number has been selected. Ed, bring up the rear here. What are you thinking?
I just don't think this movie's as loved as everyone thinks it is. I'm going to say 42%. I'm going to say it's the same as the critics.
Double down.
Okay, all right, 42%. Well, based on that, one of you is not the closest guess is 9 percentage points away. So not
Damn.
extra close, but close enough. And that correct response would have been 33%. Ed's gonna walk with this one. This is extremely low.
Yes.
Very, very well reasoned.
I would have liked it to have said 33%, but I was trying to give it the benefit of the doubt. I agree with the masses here. It's poo-poo. It's
Well, it is the
That's a good
poopometer.
call, yeah.
Poop cornometer.
Yeah.
Doesn't lie.
And now we're gonna quickly blind read one or two negative reviews and see if any of them are humorous. Let's read one here. I must give credit where it's due. This is pretty unique in its stupidity. There you go. That's one.
Thanks, bro.
All right. A nice little mislead there. Okay, this one is Freddy's nails are a little blunt here. Yeah, this guy thought he did something.
Wow. Clever girl.
Ooh, wow. Ooh, boy, the razor blades are a little less sharp this time. Well done. All right, that's it for Rotten Tomatoes. Let's wrap this up.
All right.
You know, he's right though. They weren't as sharp as it seems like they could have been in this one.
It's
and
true.
They kept coming out of his
cut
fingers
through a man
randomly.
and through the door. I don't know.
I did like the scene where it came through his fingers, though. That shit kind of freaked me out, honestly.
Oh yeah, one was hanging all to the side, all gnarly like.
Hell yeah. I got a little bit of trivia. Let's go ahead and jump into it.
Let's rock.
It's totally time for trivia.
All right. Freddy's Revenge was released on November 1st, 1985, made with a budget of $3 million and ended up grossing $30 million at the box office. So successful, but yeah, people were definitely poo-pooing on it, thinking it was kind of a weak sequel, but they showed up, which is nice. In an interview featured In Search of Darkness Part 2, The Journey into 80s Horror, which I think they've got 3 or 4 of those now. They just keep churning them out.
So many of those now.
And they're like 4 hours long each.
Yeah.
They're crazy long, but
They're
they
not
just
going to stop until they finish reviewing literally every movie from the
they're doing the
80s, I'm sure.
90s. The 90s now, I think, is what they're into. But anyway, Robert Englund was interviewed for that documentary, and he says that he's fully aware of all the homoerotic elements in the film. And was enthusiastic about playing up the undertones in the interactions between him and Jesse. And then Mark Patton goes on to say in the Never Sleep Again documentary, which is also just an exhaustive Elm Street documentary, if you're into that kind of thing, it's like 8 hours long. He said he had to say no to some pieces that they wanted to film in the movie, such as Freddy putting one of his little finger blades in Jesse's mouth in that scene where they meet in the stairwell and he's sort of caressing his cheek, he was gonna like put one of his little blades in his mouth, and Jesse had to like draw the line at that and say no thank you.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, suck the knife. Would you?
Right, yeah, it's a little
There's nothing gay going on here.
What? It's fine.
All right, so
Two straight dudes putting knives in each other's mouths.
Hey, it's your dreams. Sometimes your dreams you suck a knife. So suck the knife. What are we
Suck
doing?
the knife, Mark.
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 You want to be a big star, don't you, Mark?
Oh, God. I don't like where this went.
Getting super weird now. The dance scene, apparently, speaking of just like cashing in on shit, was gonna be trying to be an homage to the dance sequence in Risky Business, Tom Cruise in his underwear. And I guess I don't know. So just going on, Mark was saying he was kind of reluctant to film it, which resulted in its being repeatedly postponed. It was initially stated in Never Sleep Again that Patton choreographed the scene himself and told the filmmakers to just roll camera while he gave it his best shot. Patton later changed his story in an interview where he states, "There's nothing Jesse does in the movie that's not scripted. If you look at the screenplay, it reads, quote, Jesse bumps his ass against the door 3 times, then gets on the bed and pretends to masturbate. None of that was actually his idea." So who knows? I mean, I think his story has changed as well as the writer's story. David Chaskin, his story's definitely changed over the years. And I'm sure like they both truly believe what they're saying is correct. But like, like we said, we're celebrating the 40th anniversary of this movie. So like 41 years ago when they were reading the script or writing the script or like, who knows what they remember is correct. Yeah. But there's a lot of back and forth there.
I'm sure there's like some middle ground version where it's like they wrote it into the script and he's like, okay, but just roll camera because I'm only doing this fucking thing once. And he just kind of does his best. take, you know?
Sure.
Something like that.
I know if he's closeted, it's probably not best that he says he choreographed the scene himself. So
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That was all me.
Did you like it? If you did, it was me. If you don't like it, I didn't have anything to do with it.
Exactly. Definitely David Chaskin, like he back in the day when they're like, this movie's gay as hell, and he's like, no, it's not. I didn't write that shit. That's not my fault. And now people are like, hey, yeah, this movie's gay as hell, and he's like, yeah, I wrote that shit. It's like, all right.
Rousseau thing where it's like, yeah, I always meant this to be stupid. Yeah, this is what I wanted.
Yeah. In the Scream Queen documentary, they do like finally meet up and have like a one-on-one sort of conversation towards the end of it, where they sort of make amends. You know, there seemed to be some bad blood, but they weren't like hateful or anything. But
wait,
you know, they
who are we
had
talking
some
about?
hurt feelings involved. David Chaskin, the writer of this movie, and
Okay.
Mark Patton, the dude that plays Jesse, they were like, you know, trying to clear up their disagreement, basically. So that's all part of the documentary, which is interesting enough. And I do recommend checking that one out. There was just a little bit more, probably just a few more points here, and then we can wrap up trivia. Mark Patton like started his career on Broadway with Cher in a musical called Come Back to the Five and Dime, which is kind of wild.
Cool.
Nice.
He was in a bunch of TV shows too, so he had like a full career, and sort of it's the peak of his career was starring in this movie, and then after the sort of fallout of its reception was when he kind of washed his hands of Hollywood and walked away. But he was kind of an up and coming star up until that point. The director, Jack Shoulder, stated that he was totally unaware of the queer subtext or just text of this movie, which is kind of baffling to me. I think some of the other actors in this movie, when they're interviewed for the documentary, said the same. Maybe like half of the actors picked up on it, half of them didn't. But the fact that the director would like read the script and just like have no clue does kind of blow my mind a little bit. I find that somewhat hard to believe, but that's what he says.
You know, he didn't really have a wonderful career, you know, the director. You know, he didn't do much else after this.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it was
Hidden, which we reviewed.
I do kind of like The Hidden, though. That's not a bad.
I never heard of it. Was it good?
It's kind of
Kyle
like
MacLachlan.
I don't
a
remember what it was.
kind of like a alien and body snatcher ish kind of movie.
Yeah, where the cops chasing around the.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of remember
Kyle
that.
MacLachlan's in it. Yeah, worth checking out.
Wishmaster 2, which I've never seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say Mark was in a movie that came out just a couple years ago called Swallowed. That was
Swallowed.
actually pretty good.
That wasn't bad at
Ooh,
all.
that is a good
Yeah.
movie.
It
That's
was
about
it was like
the
the first thing
pregnant
he's done in a-
woman.
No.
Oh, the other
It's
Swallow
It's about
movie.
the drugs. He swallows
Swallowed
the drugs to get him
drugs.
to the
Swallow
dealer
and
or whatever.
Swallowed.
Yeah,
They came out like the
yeah,
same
yeah.
year too, or
Yeah.
a year apart or something.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I'll go ahead and end it there. Like I said, if you want more information, there's 1.5 million documentaries about this movie and just this entire franchise. There's all the information you could ever want out there for you. So let's go ahead and wrap that up and talk Cooter of the Week.
Straight chillin'. Cooter of the week.
Juice, what is a cooter and why do we hunt them?
Well, big thanks to Gint Brisket for that Cooter theme song. But a Cooter is a character type and a straight chillin' exclusive. Cooter has to hit 3 of these 5 points to be considered a Cooter, but we want the Cooter with the most points. The 5 points of Cooterdom are sexual deviance, manipulation, smug arrogance, overall looking attire, and overall patheticness. I might nominate the dad first. Oh, Randy's got it. Or the coach.
okay.
The coach. You're going to go the coach.
I mean, it's the
Yeah,
coach.
you gotta go
It's
the
Coach
Schneider.
Yeah, that's true.
Dirt
Okay.
balls.
Yeah, no, he's definitely, and he's that actor. I didn't realize he's in a lot of stuff. He was
What else is he in?
Starship
Clu-
Troopers.
Clu Gulager, right? That's who plays the coach,
Oh
I
no,
think.
that's the dad. No, the coach. Clue Gulager's the dad.
Oh, Mr. Walt. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Coach Schneider, whoever played Coach
Marshall
Schneider, he
Bell.
was in a bunch of stuff, and I recognize him as like a henchman and like and he was like as a bitch in a couple things, and then like
Total
but-
Recall. He was in.
yes,
Total
no, he's
in Total
Guado.
Recall.
That's what it is. He's
Yeah.
the guy. Yeah, he's got the. Which is interesting because like Freddy Guado's out of our main character in this one, and so I think that I love that thing. That coach is a great actor, and this was his first big movie. I remember looking into that, but yeah, no, the coach has to be Cooter of the Week. I mean,
He's in Dick Tracy too.
Oh, damn.
We got
I mean-
stuff with Dick Tracy. Yeah. So
Manipulation, sexual deviance. I mean, he
Smug
takes that
arrogant.
kid to the shower. Smug arrogance. Yeah, he's arrogant as fuck. Yeah.
Look at attire. His fucking I don't know that is, man. The fucking Zardoz looking outfit he's got on.
I mean, he's wearing it. You know, he's.
Yeah.
I think he's pulling it off.
He's wearing it to the nines, but it doesn't pulling it
Going
off
into
is a
the
different
shower.
question altogether.
Also, the buddy could be a Cooter as well. You know, he's a little. He talks a deviant mess. You know, he's always talking about hooking up with chicks and
Throwing his grandma down the stairs.
Yeah, I mean, he's never
Oh.
has a shirt on. You know, he's
I've
looking
never seen
great.
somebody eat a school lunch with such vigor in my life.
You know,
those 80s lunches where it just hit different, Randy.
I know the Mega
Oh,
Duval
man, it's
burger
funny.
that we grew up with just doesn't hit the same. It's trash food.
Yeah.
It's about to fall
Mega
out.
Duval.
I still think the dad does hit some points, though. I would definitely say smug arrogance,
Yeah.
overall patheticness, and I gotta give him one more.
I gotta.
I got to.
I mean,
Manipulation.
sexual deviance, no. Manipulation, no.
he's lazy. That's for damn sure.
Lazy
He ain't
as
fixing
fuck.
the air conditioning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And he's
think
cheap.
I think he is a little. Maybe I guess maybe you could call him pathetic out of his laziness, and also like his just the way he just writes off how anything else could possibly be wrong with his son, despite his son's pleas and his wife's pleas. She's like, he needs therapy. He needs
Yeah.
to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
He's like, he's just on fucking drugs. He needs a kick in. Yeah, kick in. Yeah.
He bought the house on a discount, knowing people, like that there was a
Murdered
suicide
it,
in the living
yeah.
room. Yeah.
I love
That's
Clue
kind of
Gulager,
manipulation
though.
because he doesn't tell his family. He kind of lies to them.
Yeah.
I think we got such a great deal.
I mean,
Okay,
I would.
Clue.
I think he's. I would. I'm thinking Cooter Light for the dad, Cooter for the coach for sure, but also like Freddy Cooter.
Or
Oh,
Freddy
for sure.
Cooter. My boy Freddy Cooter, yeah.
you've
he's,
got the body.
manipulation, sexual deviance, and smug arrogance for sure. Help
sure.
yourself, bitch.
Yeah.
That shit-
Looking
That
at
shit
tire. I mean, the sweater isn't like. I mean, the hat is. I mean, I don't know. He looks kind of.
I don't know, man. I
I
respect
don't
a
know.
good sweater. He's looking good to me. It's a little crispy, but that's fine.
Overall
the Indiana
patheticness,
Jones
he
hat.
dies because of love. So I
It's
mean,
the
come on.
fedora, however, is quite cooterish. I will give you don't see
yeah.
many fedoras these days for a reason.
One per crew, I guess, but it's still.
One per crew.
He's fedorable. He's fedorable.
It's more like 1 per 10 crews.
One per state.
One per incel cluster.
God damn.
If you worked at a grocery store, we could call him Freddy Kroger.
My boy, Fred Kroger. You know, there's somebody out there,
Michael
named
Sam
Fred,
Myers.
that worked at a Kroger, and his coworkers
Oh,
roasted his
yeah.
ass.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's 4, or close. We got like 2 strong
Yeah.
ones, some maybe
And,
Cooter Lights,
a light,
Grady, and the
yeah.
dad. Yeah.
think-
Yeah.
I think the coach takes it. This fucking
Yeah,
gum
coach.
chewing ass coach and getting his ass whipped by towels. I mean, they took special care to show that,
That
towel. whip.
club, Jesus Christ, that club is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way he rolls up to that kid at the bar and he's like, "We're going to school." Like it's it's pretty fucking weird.
I'm gonna
man.
make you shower.
You're gonna
Cooter.
sweat.
Big cooter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Floating over his head.
All right. We'll take Coach Schneider, and then I guess Freddy Cooter can also. I think we got to take them both. Personally, we got to take them both. You got to do it. You got to do
On
it.
principle.
Lock him
On
up.
principle. We got them. We got our Cooters of the week. Cool. Let's go ahead and get into what else we've been watching this week, there, fellas.
Hey, gang, what you been watching?
Ed, you been watching anything else cool?
You know what? I saw Knit Ram this week. You ever see that movie? It's all about right now, our last podcast, the series that we're working on is all about the shooter in Australia, Martin I can't remember his last name off the top of my head. But they made a movie about him called Knit Ram. It's a very upsetting movie about his life and what turned him into the shooter. Now, if you know anything about this incident, it happened in, I believe, the early 90s. And it was a mass shooting in Australia. I think like 30 people-ish were killed. And then they immediately changed their laws. This is pre-Columbine. They changed their laws and guns are no longer legal in Australia after this shooting. And so it's very important to like kind of what's going on now in America because they just straight up changed their laws and they haven't had a shooting since. And the New Zealand, the same thing happened there when they had the Christchurch shooting and then they changed all the laws and there's no more guns in New Zealand. There's never been a mass shooting in New Zealand. And so I wanted to watch Knit Ram because it was actually it was done by the same director who did the Snowtown Murders. I don't know if you saw that movie, which is a very good horror movie. I don't know if you want to call it a horror movie or it's just like an upsetting murder film drama.
Fucked up.
Yeah, and so it's the same Australian director. He did both Knit Ram, which is Martin spelled backwards because they didn't want to say the shooter's name to give him any extra press or any glory. They didn't want anyone, taking umbrage off of him. But it was a very good portrait of a killer and what makes a killer and how it develops into it. And it was also very accurate, which I really appreciate learning about this man's history. I totally suggest the movie Knit Ram and the Snowtown Murders, for that matter of fact, because both of those movies are extremely upsetting. Like Australia upsetting is way better than America upsetting. It's just dark. There's no, they don't let up at all. There's not one moment of levity. It just keeps making you upset over and over again. And the other movie I watched this week, just because my wife had never seen it, we put on Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and what a delight! What a true the other end of the spectrum. Just a true fun film. Filmed with giant Henson puppets and space and cute, quirky, nihilistic jokes. And I really appreciated how dark but yet adorable that movie is. So Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, if you haven't checked that one out.
Oh yeah.
I just looked up Knit Ram. It's like the top billed cast: Caleb Landry Jones and Essie Davis. That's a pretty solid.
He's incredible in it. He's very scary in it. I think he did it right before or after Three Billboards, but yeah, he's really good in it. So check out Knit Ram.
Damn. All right, I will do that. Thanks for the recommendation.
Yeah.
Rand Diesel, what you been watching, man?
Yeah, so I mean, crazy busy week for me. I got to watch a double feature, however, with some friends who are sort of dipping their toes into horror a little bit more these days. And we watched a double feature of Tusk and Sleepaway Camp.
Oh,
hell yeah!
Surprisingly, I only recommended one of those two, if you can believe that. But they brought Tusk up on there, or actually Beck might have brought up Tusk. Now that I mention it, my spouse.
That's not surprising at all.
That's not surprising at all. Beck takes the Tusk like a fish to water. But what a fucking great double feature, man. It's like the crazy. I don't know. I don't want to say too much about either of those, honestly. If you haven't seen them, go check those fucking things out.
I've never seen Tusk. It's got to be high. I have to do it.
It's worth watching, man. I don't it's one of those movies where it's in equal parts grating and amazing. I can't believe how much I actually like it. But when I watch, it's greater than the sum of its parts. I'll put it that way.
I love it, but it's it needs probably somebody else should have edited it other than Kevin Smith. But I still love it
and written it. and
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a movie birthed out of a stupid podcast conversation. Like the
Yeah.
history of it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
That's true,
Sleepaway
yeah.
Camp 2 is pretty good also. I definitely
It
enjoy that one as
I've
well.
never
It
pulled the
is.
trigger on it. I
It's
need
good. It's good. It's the same movie.
dude,
It's
to.
we should review it.
yeah.
If Judy's in it, I'm there. But I watched those two, and then the one other thing that I really had time to do was go to a concert. I went to watch Cheek Face, which is an indie band that I quite enjoy, that I've recently come to really love, and I got
Hell yeah.
way an obscene number of drinks in me. It was ill advised, but what a great show! Those guys put on a great show. It's like somewhere between like they might be Giants and Cake and a little bit of Talking Heads in there, or whatever. It's
Hell
strange
yeah.
shit.
That's awesome. I also
Yeah.
went to a concert this weekend.
Oh
I
yeah,
took a bunch of mushrooms and saw Dead and Co at the Sphere. It was
nice.
amazing. Yeah, that's highly recommend to go to the Sphere and eat a bunch of mushrooms.
Oh shit, dude! You must have been like, that thing looks crazy whenever
the
I
Sphere,
see
you
it.
said?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Sphere.
in
Oh,
Vegas.
wow.
Yeah, I took the trip
Yeah,
out. It was my
dude.
Christmas gift to myself, and
I don't
I
think
told
I'd make
my
it out of that
I told him
situation.
oh my God, I saw Fish there last year. It's
Holy
too
fuck,
much fun.
dude.
It's you got to
Oof.
do it if one time. But yeah, as long as it's not the Eagles.
Fucking hate the Eagles, man. Cool. Juice, what you been watching?
Not really much. So I mentioned it before. I watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre to get ready for our feature, but I did just want to bring up something since Ed had mentioned it. Ed, have you ever seen a movie called Polytechnique from 2009?
No.
So it's kind of in the same vein, honestly. But it's Denis
I love
Villeneuve.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he did a movie, and it's about it's about a Canadian shooting at a university, and it's played very straight. It's very disturbing, but it's done in a way that kind of in the same kind of way it sounds like you're describing the other films, but it's shot in like black and white. But it's about a guy in the 80s who specifically just was killing women at the university, specifically targeting them. But it kind of shows like just the days leading up to it and everything like that. It's very chilling type of film, but it sounds kind of like same style. So, but
What's it
that's
called
it.
again?
Polytechnique. It came out in 2009.
I'm definitely checking that out.
Yeah. So since you're on that kick anyways, I guess the shootings happened in 1989 at what, Montreal, Quebec, in Quebec maybe. I don't know, but yeah. But he's such a good director, and he brings a lot of respect to the subject matter. So yeah. Anyways, Bob, what you been watching?
Just a couple things, not a whole lot really. Still watching Gemstones season 4, which is holding up pretty well. Bizarre random horror references throughout that show, which is kind of neat. Definitely recommend checking that out. I made it out to the theaters to watch Sinners. Good stuff. We already kind of talked about that. Mini cast dropping in a couple weeks. Finally, I watched How to Train Your Dragon, which is something I'd never seen before. My wife was a big fan, and we were talking about the new Epic Universe opening up in Orlando and how like one of the areas is all about that. And I was like, I
Really?
would get none of the references. So I watched that, and I was kind of surprised at the casting, honestly. It's just a ton of like kind of raunchy comedians just voicing most of the characters. And I was like, oh wow, I know like all these people. This is interesting. The movie itself was okay. Like, it's made for kids. It's not necessarily made for our old asses, but it's fine. It's fine for what it is. Good enough time. If you got some young ones, throw it on for sure. Definitely worth it. Um, Outside of that, Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. That's about it. There you go. We don't have any voicemails this week, but if you guys would like to call in and leave a voicemail for next week, you can hit us up at 904-638-3231. Questions? Anything you guys want to ask for next week?
One thing I was curious about when I was watching Nightmare on Elm Street 2 that I didn't get to bring up is uh crazy how they're just driving that bus through a bunch of Joshua trees. That's incredibly protected land.
Yeah.
That's like that's like I was blown away by it. I was just like, those things, if you go to prison if you hurt one of those trees now. And they were
Yes,
just driving a school bus through it. I was like, it was very
The
I got-
80s.
I know,
Yeah.
85, brother. That cool body glove sticker that was right above
It's
the
not-
gear
The
shift.
body
Fuck
glove.
yeah.
Yeah. It's nothing a little cocaine and know-how get done. You
Taking
know?
one of those
It'll get
buses
done.
off-roading would be the most uncomfortable ride of your
God,
fucking
dude.
life. You would get launched.
It's just like flailing and
I know.
fucking dunes.
seesawing across the land.
I'm like, that looks miserable, man. No.
Just no
Yeah.
seatbelts, all metal. Just like
Yeah, dude, for real.
I hope you got that thick ass for all them bumps.
Why
I
don't
do.
you call in and make a case for your favorite franchise? Which one do you think tops them all?
yeah.
We were kind of comparing Friday, Nightmare, Halloween,
Chainsaw,
Hellraiser. What
Yeah.
do you think's the best overall?
Chucky.
All
Bring
the
your
films.
algorithmic algorithms.
Yeah,
as to
justify
why.
yourself. You only have 3 minutes though, so keep it short.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hit us up.
that's good.
904-638-3231. Next week, we will be back with a brand new show. As always, we're talking about another Patreon pick. This one was chosen by friend of the show, Miles B. The movie is The Seventh Curse from 1986.
Oh my god, I
And-
can't wait!
Keeping
This-
that streak alive, Miles.
Yeah, I think this is his third consecutive Hong Kong horror movie from the 80s, and these movies are sort of making themselves known stateside.
I
They're
thought this was a Thai film.
no, it's from Hong Kong.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's a Shaw Brothers joint. Maybe it was
Oh,
filmed
okay.
just somewhere else. That I
Oh,
just
okay.
South America way.
I know the slightest bit of information about this. But yeah, The Seventh Curse, this was just put out on Blu-ray by Vinegar Syndrome, so you can pick it up on disc. You cannot stream it on any streaming service anywhere.
Literally,
but
Miles had
it-
to find us a.
Yeah, it is on
Stream.
archive.org. You can watch it there or on Blu-ray, and that's about it.
Thanks.
So check out The Seventh Curse.
Jesus.
Get ready for next week's show. Ed, thanks so much for sitting in with us, dude. It's always a pleasure having you on. Super fun to chat
Thanks
with
for having me, man. I love talking horror movies with you fellas. I hope to come back again sometime. And if you're in Florida, come and check me out. I'm in Naples on May 6th, Fort Lauderdale May 7th, Orlando May 8th, and Key West all Mother's Day weekend. That's May 9th through 11th. Tickets available at anytunes.com. And of course, listen to last podcast on the left. Have yourself some fun. We talk about the real horrors of real life. And so, and then, also some dumb shit like aliens and Bigfoot too, but
those are real.
The fun horrors of life.
Right.
that's right.
Like nothing I'd ever smelled before in my life.
Treat your
Have-
mothers. Take them out on
I
Mother's
know.
Day weekend.
Yes.
You know you're showing up for the moms and like making them all happy.
Oh, they love me. I'm great with moms.
Have you guys over on last podcast ever seen or talked about that Bigfoot monster mystery documentary from like 1996?
No.
Bob.
Oh my
Dude, you gotta
No,
watch
it's-
it. You
he's-
gotta
He's
watch
right
it.
to bring it up.
You
Send
gotta
it to
watch
me. I need to know
It's
about
on
this.
YouTube for free. It's only like 45 minutes long. It's also known as drumming for Bigfoot because this dude in 96 takes his drums out in the middle of the woods, tries to play drums for fucking Bigfoot to call him out of hiding. Dude, it's out of control. You gotta. I'll send you a link. It is
Please
worth
send me
it.
a link. I need that in my life.
We'll make
That
you a
is ex-
believer.
Yeah,
I
for
need
sure.
I need help because right now it's not going well.
I got you.
This will reinvigorate your love for life, I assure you.
For real. For real. All right, yeah, until next week, check out The Seventh Curse. You can find us everywhere, straightchillingpodcast.com and all the social media platforms. You know where to find us. We got hyperlinks everywhere. So until next week, as always, all you mother truckers, please keep chilling.
You found your dream power, man.